The following is a presentation of SC State Athletics.
You are watching the Buddy Pough Show, featuring highlights of the South Carolina State Bulldogs. Our sponsors are Prisma Health, the South Carolina Education Lottery, the County of Orangeburg, working hard for you, Farm Bureau Insurance. Get a quote at farmbureaupromise.com. Founders Federal Credit Union. Relax with Founders. And by the Department of Health and Environmental Control. Healthy people living in healthy communities. And now, here's our host, the voice of the South Carolina State Bulldogs, Ernest Robinson.
It's Hall of Fame week this week at South Carolina State as the Bulldogs play their home opener against the Bethune Cookman Wildcats. In years past, this has been a MEAC game, but the Wildcats have moved on to the Southwestern Athletic Conference. But in this ball game, neither team has yet to register a win this season, and somebody's always got to go, and Buddy Pough is hoping it's his Bulldogs. Coach Pough, home opener, boy, can't wait.
I'm telling you, man, it's been a long time coming, and we get our chance to really get after a doggone football team. Bethune Cookman, it's the cats and the dogs, and those guys always get after each other. So let's see what happens here today.
Coach, we've seen them on film. This is a good football team. 0-4 doesn't do them justice. 0-3 doesn't do us justice. So somebody's always got to go today.
Yeah, and they are doing exactly as we've done. They've gone through three tough road games they played. Money games on the road, that kind of stuff. So, it is what it is at this point. This is what we've got to do to survive. And at this point now, we get the chance to play each other. One of us has got to get a daggone win.
You start talking about this team, Coach. They've got really strong receiving core, good, strong quarterback. Talk about what you have to do defensively to slow them down.
Well, we probably going to have to find a little bit of man looking and really find where that Averett kid is, the daggone big old tight end guy that's all the time. Their quarterback is a throw-it-around guy pretty good, so they'll throw it maybe about 60% of the time. And a large part of it's got to do with having to deal with the inside receivers, tight ends, and that kind of and then from there, then you got to stop their run game too, because those guys, got little scat backs who can kind of break big plays on you that way too.
Coach, offensively, we got it going last week in the second half against Bethune Cookman. You can't afford to wait till the second half to get it going. What's going to be the secret to getting it started?
We got to start fast, and hopefully our script's good. We have a little 12-play hot script at the beginning of the game that we try to see if we can get ourselves down the field that way, and then also gather information so that we can kind of see what they line up in versus different looks and what have you. So hopefully we can go real fast early and do good, score some points, get ahead, that kind of stuff, and stop them. And then at that point, then we got to continue to do it for the rest of the game.
Coach, we've seen them in several games. When they go to kick an extra point, it's not just an extra point.
Yeah.
How much could you prepare for the different formations they have in extra points and that sort of thing?
Well, we're prepared. You just don't know exactly what direction they're coming from. You know that they've got some stuff up their sleeves in the field goal PAT game. So, we just kind of get in a safe look and try to see if we can make sure that we don't let them score 2 points that way. Yeah.
Quickly, what about the injured guys coming back? Who do you have coming back that you haven't had in a couple of weeks?
We got Jablonski Green back. Hopefully we can get him, full speed that way. And that's really it. We got another couple guys that we think might be, able to play a little bit. But right now he's the main guy, that we think we might be getting back.
All right, Coach, what's going to be the keys to getting a win here today?
Run the football on offense and stop the pass on defense.
All right, Coach, best of luck.
Thank you so much.
Kicking off for South Carolina State will be Dyson Roberts. And this is going to be Diesel fielded at the 9. He's at the 10, at the 15, right up the middle at the 20, and cut down right at the 25-yard line. Good tackle for South Carolina State. Fields. Play action fake. Throws a slant. Got Wolverine open at the 40, at the 35, 30, 25, 20, down to about the 17-yard line. Wolverine on the quick slant from Corey Fields. Handoff inside. This is Kendrell Flowers trying to bounce it outside. Stiff arm, still on his feet at the 10, down to the 5, down to about the 3-yard line. Kendrell Flowers, a lot of that bill on his own. 2 Bulldogs are left, 1 right. Handoff inside. This is Kendrell. Kendrell pushing forward, still pushing, still on his feet. Pushing the power forward. They haven't stopped him yet. He is down. Touchdown. My goodness. Dyson Roberts approaches. And here we go. It's a high kick. It's going to be short. It's going to be fielded by Dees at the 5-yard line. He's at the 10, at the 15, at the 20, at the 25. He's got speed. And there he goes. I just mentioned he's got speed. He's at the 50. He's going to be gone 30, 25, 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown, Darnell Dees. Shotgun formation for the Wildcats. Play action fake. He throws. He's got a receiver, and it is picked off. South Carolina State.
Number 43.
Patrick Godbolt. And Wolverine now comes in motion. Heads that way. High snap. Hand off to Kendrell inside. Touchdown. He walks in. 3 yards out. Kendrell Flowers with the score. It's South Carolina State 14. Bethune Cookman 7. Back to pass Corey again. Corey looking long. Corey throwing it out there. Got a man out there wide open. Wolverine. He'll walk into the end zone. Touchdown, Corey Fields. Shotgun snap. Corey's looking right. Corey looking long right. Throwing it out there. Got a man. Kareem caught by Kareem White up at the 40-yard line between two defenders. Comes out of the game. He took a vicious hit, Bill. Ooh. Shotgun formation. Wolverine goes in motion from right to left. They give to Dante. Dante breaks free. My goodness, touchdown. He went into the pile, and he came out between somebody's legs. As that's the end of the first half of play, our score. South Carolina State 28, Bethune-Cookman 7. Okay, Coach, we started this football game off as well as we started any football game this season. Our first possession, we take it down and score, and it seemed like all the pieces were starting to fit on the offense.
You're exactly right, Ernest. We had a nice little drive where we mixed the pass and the run. Rather nicely there. I think you got a chance to see Shaq Davis as an inside receiver for the first time, and it was a little bit of a surprise to Bethune-Cookman, I'm sure, that he was aligned at a little different place. So, that gives Corey a little bit different kind of guy that he can see over the middle in some of those RPO, those run-pass option plays where you can throw the ball over the top of the offensive line as run blocking. So I thought it was a good drive to start the game.
You can talk about the first quarter. Kendrell Flowers had 41 yards on the ground in the first quarter. Run really up, start setting up the pass, and it was 50-50, and you couldn't get a better mix.
I think you're exactly right. And Kendrell is getting better every game. You see, him getting a little bit more behind his pads and running hard, and then he can do the whole deal as far as the receiving game is concerned. You could actually put him out there, and he could be a wideout. So I'm excited about Kendrell because he's a bright young man who's got, a bright future in front of him.
You're playing well on the offense and defense. Well, and over that first few minutes of the first quarter, we score, kick the football off, and Darnell Dees, as he did against Alabama A&M, walked Bethune-Cookman back in the football game.
In the same spot, in the same exact spot. So, I think we might ought to try to see if we can kick it somewhere else or to another guy. And from that point on, we attempted to try to do some different things with the ball. So you don't have to do much to discombobulate a kickoff return team. You sky kick one or you squib kick one or do something that they kind of get their timing off a little bit. Then that kind of gives you a chance to kind of get, them at least to the point where they won't return them on you.
Bulldogs reacted offensively, Coach. You settled down, went back to what you were doing before, and the offense picked it up and started to develop a lead. You come back and score 14-7.
It did. And from that point on, we kind of got to the point where I felt like our offense was dominant. And, we could have been at that point, 50 points up, but we could if the half doesn't stop us. But, unfortunately, the first half ran out, and we got a chance to go in and settle out and come back out. And, it wasn't quite nearly the same kind of look as it was the first half.
Before I let you get out of the first half, though, Coach, there were some plays offensively where Kendrell Flowers and your offensive line moved the football straight down the field, and it was almost like these guys have been in the gym, and they felt like, and they got invigorated by pushing forward. And there was one play where Kendrell Flowers was stopped, and he got 7 more yards after his initial surge was stopped.
Our offensive line has got that kind of ability now, so we've got some guys up there that can push pretty well. So, as they get older and get more confident, then hopefully you'll see that kind of stuff going on with our offensive front. Kendrell's a big enough back that he can push the pile a little bit, and then you give them an opportunity to help a little bit, with pushing the pile. Then you got that kind of possibility.
All right, we're going to take a time out here on the Buddy Pough Show. End of the first half, South Carolina State on top by a score of 28-7. We'll have more on the Buddy Pough Show after this timeout. All right, it's the Prisma Health Injury Report, Coach, which is always tough when you have to go through an injury report. And this one wasn't quite as bad, but Rakeem White went down with an injury after making a really big catch. And I mean, it was a 27-yard gain for South Carolina State. It was amazing he held onto the football.
You're exactly right. It was into a real tight space that he caught the ball. And I guess the guy came down to his shoulder. I think we've got one of those deals where he may have one of those shoulder separations or something of that deal, but looks like he's going to be out for a little while. And then Tyson Gray, one of our offensive linemen, had a little bit of an ankle deal. Hopefully Tyson will be back next week, but both those guys right now, a little bit iffy.
A lot of guys came off the Prisma Health Report to have an impact this week. Jablonski Green really put a lot of pressure on their quarterbacks.
Jablonski is a good-looking defensive end type guy. Had been a linebacker. He kind of eaten himself out of the linebacker position to a down lineman now, and we think that he's got a chance to be a difference maker for us up front. And then we got Zion Meadows, a freshman, who sat out last year from up at Spartanburg, South Carolina. And Zion's a defensive end kind of guy who can really come off the edge and rush the pass. So I'm thinking that we can maybe get something out of those guys. We've been having problems with quarterbacks scrambling around and creating time, to find open receivers that way. So hopefully with those two guys added to the mix, that'll give us a chance to give ourselves a little more punch up front in the pass rush.
All right, folks, that is the Prisma Health injury report for the Bethune-Cookman game. We'll take another time out here on the Buddy Pough Show. We'll come back. We'll have more highlights after these messages on the Buddy Pough Show. Shotgun snap Fields, hands it off. This is Jacory Benson trying to get outside, turns the corner at the 15, 20, 25. Push forward to about the 29-yard line. Shotgun formation for Corey. Here comes a blitz up the middle. Corey's having a run. Johnson looking for him. Throws it out there. It is caught. Richard Bailey, what a catch. He dived. Here's the snap. Back to pass. Here comes pressure. Throws it out there. Got a man caught. Shaq Davis at the 28. Shaq at the 25, down to the 21-yard line. That man has been incredible this afternoon. Shotgun snap. Fields. Look left. Nobody there. Going to the other side. Shaq Davis wide open at the 5. Shaq makes a man miss. Spins and gets down to the 3-yard line. He wanted the end zone. Couldn't get in. They give it to Jacory Benson up the middle. Benson puts his head down. Pushes forward. Did he get in?
He got in the end zone to signal. Yay.
Jacory Benson with a touchdown from 2 yards out. Holmes to the left. Massey and Shaq are to the right. Handoff inside. Dante Anthony turns left at the 30 at the 25. Anthony makes a man miss at the 20. 15, 10, 5. Touchdown Dante Anthony for South Carolina State. 42 for South Carolina State. 7 for Bethune-Cookman. He is being nice. Let me tell you. With Devin Black back to pass. Looking long. Got a man out there. It is through the hands of Teron Mallard. And apparently Marcus going to go down. Devin Black from the shotgun back to pass. Looking left. Looking right now. Throwing over the middle. And same situation, caught, touchdown. Wow. Shotgun snap, throws it out, and the flank's got a man out there. That's Takeo Holmes. Holmes trying to make a miss, can't get a block, and Holmes gets pulled but stays on his feet and gets a first down. Shotgun formation, Hill. Play action fake, Hill rolling to his right. In trouble, makes the man miss. Throwing long, and it is caught. What a catch. Jalen Perry down at the 5-yard line. There's the snap. Hill rolled to his left, threw it back to the big man. And that's a fumble. And the big man didn't recover, and it's picked up by Bethune-Cookman, and this is going to be a long touchdown for Bethune-Cookman. That's a lateral.
That was a lateral behind the line of scrimmage.
That was a lateral. So McDonald with the squib kick, and this is a live football. And the Bulldogs have yet to recover it, and I think South Carolina State eventually. No, Bethune-Cookman got it.
Oh, my goodness.
And here we go, folks. Black snaps. Bird dives into the end zone. Touchdown. Bethune-Cookman. Wildcats are to the left, one to the right. Black back to pass. Black throwing. He's got Big Averett at the 50. Into Bulldog territory at the 45-yard line. Devin Black back to pass. Black throws a slant. Averett again. Jacoby Durant tries to pull it out of his hands. Averett has the football. They're trying to push the Pough forward. Averett still moving down to the 28-yard line. Looking that way is Black. He's throwing it up top. Jacoby Durant is pushed down. And I did not see a penalty flag go down. Black rolling to his right, tackled and knocked down. Big hit by B.J. Davis. And they're going to call a targeting on B.J. No, a targeting penalty on B.J. Davis because he hit him with the shoulder. So B.J. Davis has been disqualified. The targeting was confirmed. Black fumbles a football. And he is wrapped up and spins, and I think he did get in eventually.
Yep.
It's a touchdown, Bethune-Cookman. His toe is in it. It is up, and we're down to a 7-point lead with 45 seconds to go. They can recover it. It's a sky kick. And Shaq signaled for a fair catch and caught it, and it's out of bounds. Corey Fields takes a knee. They had to score a lot quicker than they did. The Bulldogs will eke out of here after leading 42-7 with a 42-35 win as the clock winds down, and the Hall of Fame crowd acknowledges that the Bulldogs have pulled it out. But what a win here today for South Carolina State. All right, Coach, we go into the third quarter of this football game, and we end up with possession. And, you know, we start the football game just like the second half, like we started the game, moving the football, mixing it up well, and the offense couldn't play any better.
And I thought we had a chance to really drive the football down and score again, which, you know, would have been probably the death sentence for them. But now we ended up punting the ball back to them, and they kind of went back and forth there a little bit. I don't know if they'd have scored until toward the end, but we finally did get our offense going again and got another couple scores. So we had them down 42-7, somewhere in that neck of the woods. We got 2 more scores in the third quarter, but from that point, things kind of went south.
I'll tell you what, wheels came off for South Carolina State, and one of the things we talked about was the fact that you were able to keep Kamar Everett, the big tight end, out of the game for most of the game, and all of a sudden he gets a big play, and it just kind of opened things up for Bethune.
And they still let it push off some. I think after they called one pushing off penalty, one offensive interference penalty, they didn't think they could call another one. So, you know, at that point, then they just kind of let him just do all that kind of anything he wanted to our guys. So it was a little bit ugly. At that point, you know, we did some other things to help them. But I'm going to be honest with you, I was just glad to get out of the game with a win.
You know, you start talking about Bethune-Cookman, and the funny thing about Bethune-Cookman, you often talked leading up to this game about how South Carolina State and Bethune-Cookman was almost an exact mirror of each other, and all of a sudden we find ourselves in the South Carolina State-New Mexico State game, and all of a sudden we're feeling like New Mexico State.
You know what? It's almost the exact same score too at the end. So they had a real chance to get back into the game at the end. When we finally got it back that last time and were taking a knee, you know, I could see them saying, "Boy, we just had another couple minutes," but they didn't. So I was happy with that fact, and we will take that win and go to the house.
All right, Coach, another perspective on this game and see what your take is on this. You know, sometimes when you win, you get too full of yourselves.
Yeah.
This win does not allow you or your coaching staff or your players to be confident about what's going on because you got work to do.
And we go on the road next week to FAMU, and I can tell you that those guys will be lying in wait, you know, for us down in Tallahassee. So it'll be a big football game for us, and we want to make sure that we don't let these guys get too far ahead of us, because these guys took off and left and went to another league, going to the SWAC now. So we're going to try to see if we can bring a little MEAC blessings to them down in Tallahassee next Saturday.
All right, folks, we're going to take a time out. We come back, we'll talk about what's up next for the Bulldogs. Florida A&M down in Tallahassee next week. And one more break, and we'll be right back after these messages. Coach Pough, Tallahassee, a place we've been several times before. Talk about this Florida A&M team. I saw them play Labor Day. I don't know if you saw that game, but, you know, teams are changing week by week. What do you know about the Rattlers?
I saw them early in the year against Jackson State when they played in the Miami game. I think it might have been the Orange Blossom Classic. And, you know, they weren't quite as impressive. Defensively, I think they're a good bit better. And, you know, that could be trouble because Willie Simmons is the offensive guy in that particular program. And you can better bet that they'll have pretty good offensive ideas. So I'll be concerned. You know, it'll be a tough game for us. I like to see, you know, what happens. They're playing a big game this weekend against Alabama State. You keep an eye out there, folks, and see if we can figure out something from that game, because that'll be the big game for us to be breaking down and trying to figure out how to attack these guys next week.
It was fun for me to see, Coach, this past week when you could send out Rakeem White, Wolverine, and Shaq Davis in the lineup at the same time. When you get those three on the field at the same time, that's quite a load for the defense.
Guys can run, man. All those guys can really move. And I'm really concerned with Rakeem right now because I think he might be out for a while, but he's a young, developing guy. He's just a freshman. And you know, what we probably end up doing with him if he is out is probably redshirting him now, and he still have 4 years after this. But now, the last thing I'm looking for is to save time with a guy when you're old as I am. You need to be, you don't buy any green bananas. So you got to try to see if you can get them guys on the field. If a guy can run like that guy can run, you need to put him on the field right now. So hopefully we'll get him back in another couple of weeks and get a chance to see all those guys play together, because they are a dynamic crew as a receiving corps when all of them are out there at the same time.
Talking about all of them at the same time, you seem to get the defensive front going finally. Patrick Garbo had a big play in this football game, and you really got some pressure and some push from the guys on the front.
We're starting to get a little bit of momentum there. Those defensive front guys are a little bit young, and a couple of them are a little bit on the medium fast side. They're not quite fast enough. So, we end up having a little bit of a problem with quarterbacks, kind of just, especially those scrambling style kind of athletic quarterbacks. They can sometimes get away from us in a way where they just kind of buy time and then eventually find a receiver. You can only cover, so long back there. So I'm hoping that now that we got Godbolt starting to grow up a little bit, we got Jablonski coming on now, we got Zion Meadows mixed in the mix. Hopefully we got enough guys out there now to be fresh enough and fast enough that we can actually chase a guy down and stop those guys from being able to buy time that way.
Bragg Memorial Stadium is always a tough to play on Saturday night in Tallahassee. What's going to take to get it done down there?
Well, we got to continue to play good on the offensive side of football. We need to score points. Anytime we play FAMU and Willie Simmons, he's going to score some points. So we got to get that done. And then on the defensive side, we got to continue to try to make guys somewhat one-dimensional. If they're going to be a big pass team, then we got to take away some of the doggone pass from them. If they're a really good run team, then we got to find a way to do that. But in the meantime, this team has always got to be, a team that's got to score points against a FAMU team because they always score.
All right, folks, that's going to be the final word here. South Carolina State gets the win over Bethune-Cookman this week, 42-35. We hope to see you next week in Tallahassee, Florida, when the Bulldogs take on the Rattlers. 2 weeks from now, when the Bulldogs return to Orangeburg for homecoming against Morgan State. And, of course, next week, right here on Bally Sports on the Buddy Pough Show.
Thank you for watching the Buddy Pough Show, featuring highlights of the South Carolina State Bulldogs. The show has been brought to you by Prisma Health, the South Carolina Education Lottery, the County of Orangeburg, Farm Bureau Insurance, Founders Federal Credit Union, and by the Department of Health and Environmental Control. Join us next week for highlights of South Carolina State football on the Buddy Pough Show.